who's in the middle here in the center is Joseph T. Murphy. Joe Murphy is a partner at Clifford Law Offices. He's the attorney who is representing the family in the Navarro case. And Joe, if you want to take it from here and explain what happened.
All right, good morning and thank you for being here. My name is Joseph Murphy. I'm a partner at Clifford Law Offices. And we're here today because of the tragic, senseless, and preventable death of Tanya Navarro, who was overserved at, who was killed by a drunk driver named Finn Curran. And Mr. Curran was overserved at a bar called Rafferty's Pub in Countryside. Before I get into the facts of what happened here, I want to take a moment to introduce my guests. We have Tanya's daughters here. This is Alyza. This is Alyza Lopez. She's Tanya's daughter, and we have Aliyah Phillips as well to the right of me. Along with them is State Senator Willie Preston, who is kind enough to be here, who represents Tanya's district, and Representative Lisa Davis, who also represents Tanya's district. Today, Clifford Law Offices filed a lawsuit against the bar Rafferty's Pub, who overserved the drunk driver named Finn Curran, and also filed a lawsuit against Finn Curran as well. I want to give kind of an overview of events of what occurred. On December 13th of 2024, around 5:30 p.m., Mr. Curran was getting off work and entered Rafferty's Pub in his truck. And he entered the pub and was served liquor from about 5:30 until about 9:45 p.m. and exited the bar after being served several different drinks and went into his car. A couple different things to note here is that Mr. Curran was twice the legal limit when he exited Rafferty's Pub. The legal limit in Illinois is 0.08.
Push the mic a little closer, please.
Sure.
You want to start that over again?
Yeah.
A little louder, Joe. Thank
Sure. The legal limit in Illinois is 0.08, and Mr. Curran was over 0.16 when he left the bar. Another egregious fact in this case is that, according to Mr. Curran's own statement to police, he was given what he characterized as a to-go drink by the bar, by Rafferty's, and that Rafferty's knew of this to-go drink. It was a Red Bull vodka. When he left the bar at 9:45, again, he was double the legal limit. Around the same time that Mr. Curran was leaving the bar, Ms. Navarro was a backseat passenger in a van owned by her friend, and she was in the back seat because she was caring for her loving little dog named Chewy, which was on her lap. The vehicle was headed home, and on the way to, or on southbound Grange Road and around the 7200 block. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to point out on this diagram where the vehicles were. You can see up here, and I'll get into it in just a moment here, when the vehicle became disabled, her van became disabled. So the van became disabled in the southbound lanes of Grange Road, and the individual, the driver, Tanya's friend, pulled over and put on his hazards. And in fact, a Good Samaritan stopped in front of Tanya's vehicle to assist. At that point, the driver of Tanya's vehicle got out of the car to speak with the Good Samaritan. And as he was speaking with the Good Samaritan, Mr. Curran's truck slammed into the back of the vehicle that Tanya was in at 80 to 90 miles per hour, according to the defendant, Mr. Curran. And you can see on the crash report here, we have Unit 2 here. That's the 2017 van, the Dodge van that Tanya was in. Unit 1 was the truck, the Dodge truck that Mr. Curran was driving at the time with his to-go drink from Rafferty's. And then Unit 3 was the Good Samaritan. So everyone is aware, Mr. Curran was later charged with felony DUI causing a death, and his case is pending in District 5, the Bridgeview Courthouse, and his next court date is on January 20th of 2026. There are a few reasons why this is so tragic and so preventable. Obviously, Mr. Curran took it upon himself to get behind the wheel of a car when he was twice the legal limit, number one. Equally as egregious is the bar giving Mr. Curran a drink to go, filled with Red Bull and vodka. But perhaps most telling is that after the crash, the police talked to the bartender and talked to the employees of Rafferty's, and it turned out that Mr. Curran asked for a double shot of vodka, and the bartender only gave him a single shot, meaning that they were aware that he was intoxicated, aware that he shouldn't have been drinking anymore, and should have simply just cut him off. And instead, the bar decided to give him another drink and let him go on his way. Additionally, they let him go outside with the alcoholic beverage as well. So both those facts make this case very egregious. Upon impact, Tanya's dog was killed, and Tanya later succumbed to her injuries at the hospital. The fact that the bar decided to give Curran an extra drink when they knew full well that he was intoxicated shows that the bar was choosing profits over the safety of the public. And this is something that affects everyone, particularly around the Thanksgiving holiday. Now, unfortunately for the family, they are only entitled under the law to $107,000 for this bar over-serving Finn Curran. We think this is unjust, and the law is outdated, and it does not provide a deterrent to bars from over-serving their patrons. Again, highlighting this today is important because according to the Mothers Against Drunk Drivers, according to the AAA, around the Thanksgiving holiday, there's a 35% increase in fatalities caused by DUI. And we think it's extremely important to highlight this fact because Thanksgiving is just right around the corner. And both daughters are going to be left without their mother. The bottom line here is Tanya's death resulted from two reckless decisions, one from Finn, the other from the bar. And if just one of those decisions had been made properly, we wouldn't be here today, and the mothers and the two daughters would have their mother. So I want to just show a couple different photos here. On the left here, we have, this is Miss Navarro on the very right. That's a graduation photo, and that's Aliyah's graduation, and that's Alyza to her left. And if we could take that down, just move that. That's a photo of Tanya a few years ago. If we remove that, we have one photo of the scene of the crash. This photo is taken immediately after the crash, and it's a still from the police's body-worn camera. What we have here is, this is the van that Miss Navarro was a backseat passenger in, that when she was killed and her dog was killed. And then this is Unit 3, the Good Samaritan that was assisting. Finn Curran's truck was hit the back of the van so hard that his truck went across the lanes of traffic. So with that said, I want to turn it over to Alyza, who's going to be making a brief statement on behalf of the family.
I want to take a moment to tell you about our mom. She was passionate, selfless, and full of life. She loved spending time with me and my sister. Some of our best memories were made while discovering new restaurants together. She was the kind of person who would always show up when you needed her the most and always stood up for what she thought was right. To everyone who knew her, she wasn't just our mom. She was the kind of person who would find laughter and light even in the hardest moments. This will be our first Thanksgiving without her. We will miss her always and forever. And that's why losing her the way that we did has been so painful, because it was so preventable. And that's why we hired Clifford Law Offices, to get us answers and to make sure no other family has to go through what ours did.
Now, Senator Davis and Representative Preston might be saying a couple words as well. I'm sorry. Senator Preston and Representative Davis might be saying a couple words as well.
Go ahead.
Good morning.
Thank you all for being here today. I am Lisa Davis, State Representative for the 32nd District. 20 years ago, I lost my dad to esophageal cancer, complications due to that. But that was a risk that we all knew could be associated with cancer or treatment for cancer. I'm here today to sit or stand with Alyza and Aliyah because this loss could have been preventable. So I want this family to know that I support them in their pursuit of justice, and hopefully they can get the answers that they need. Thank you.
Well, I'm going to start by saying, Aliyah and Alyza, this should have never happened. I want to thank Clifford Law Office for taking your rightful place in the pursuit of justice in Illinois. And I can tell you as your state senator that we are going to review the law to make sure that tragedies like this, before they happen, responsible bar owners are going to make sure that they take every precaution so that they don't happen. In the coming days, we are all across this country are going to say Happy Thanksgiving. But for far too many families, it's not going to be happy. It's going to be a grief-filled Thanksgiving. And because this was so avoidable, we got to take every step legally within the legislature to make sure that we can make this holiday a happy holiday for so many more parents. This tragedy reminds us that safety does not begin with the police report. It begins before that with decisions, culture, and yes, indeed, laws on the books that prevent these type of tragedies. During this next couple of days and during the holiday season, fatal deaths that are related to folks over drinking and driving are going to be up 35% if the trajectory continues to hold as it has been. We're going to make sure that that stops. The heart of justice is the safety of our communities, and stopping these preventable and avoidable drunk driving incidents and tragedies must be stopped immediately. And so I stand with you all in your pursuit of justice. You deserve justice, but justice will sadly not bring your family member back, your mother back. But we want to make sure, as lawmakers and as folks who actually practice the law, that we don't have this incident happening over and over again. We have to make some changes.
Thank you, Senator. All right, at this point, we can open it up for some questions.
Can you explain what the current law is? What is the responsibility of a bar owner or a bartender?
Not to overserve. All right, they cannot overserve to the point of intoxication. And it is a strict liability law right now. But right now there is a, unfortunately, we believe that it's unjust that the family would only be entitled to about $107,000 for the wrongful death of their mother.
So there's a cap. Is there in the state law, there's a cap on what the liability of a bartender or a bar owner?
Yes, and I think that it's appropriate for us to put caps on, but this cap certainly, it doesn't fit with the consequences that people face, like being killed by drunk drivers. So we need to reassess and reevaluate, is this cap enough of a deterrent to prevent bars who are irresponsible from over providing drinks? And right now, clearly it's not.
I guess their argument is probably if it's higher than that, then they may put them out of business. Is that?
Right. It's a bit of an antiquated law. It goes back all the way to the 1930s, and it's increased every year with inflation in terms of how much a family is entitled to. But again, $107,000 for two daughters who lost their mother is hardly justice.
Can you just talk a little bit more about your mom? I mean, just to, just what she did, just a little bit more about her, so we have more of an idea of who she was.
Sure. So she worked for a physical therapy company. She was a regional office manager until about 20 2020. That was during COVID, and unfortunately, she was a part of some of the COVID layoffs. She did try to find a job in between the years. She did have a job at one point, but I don't believe it was working out for her as far as distance went. So she was trying to find another job in between, and unfortunately just never was able to find anything. But she was very, very like a light of life. She lit up every room she walked into. She could make a joke out of the smallest thing. And yeah, we just really miss her.
How important is it for you to pursue legal action against the bar?
For me personally, it is very important. My mom was my only living parent. So she was taken away from me 6 days after I got engaged. So that just kind of makes it a little heavier than it already was. Excuse me. So I'm now planning a wedding without either my mother or my father. So, getting justice for this means a lot to me because she was all I had.
Do you mind me asking what happened to your dad?
He passed away of an aneurysm in 2002.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Joe, we aren't hearing the question, so if there are any others, you're not Mike, but that's
Oh,
okay. I think
sorry.
the answers speak themselves. I could have repeated. We're dealing with some audio issues, but I assume, did we show all the pictures that we needed to up there?
Yeah, we did.
Okay. Great. And Sarah, I don't know if you have any other questions?
What's your age, John?
I'm 29.
Okay, and then you're
21.
21, okay,
So
great.
Joe, if you want to repeat
Okay.
the ages so that they
And
know.
then your mom was?
She was 44 at the time of her death.
Okay. And I think, just to clarify, the bar is located in, if you want to repeat, in Countryside?
Yeah, Countryside. Rafferty's in Countryside.
Mhm. Okay. And I don't know, I'm gonna just check, we have some reporters on Zoom, and they all say that they're okay, because Sarah asked all the questions.
So I want to just add one other.
Yeah, go ahead.
For me, this is so important. As a former carpenter, I think about the construction workers that are working our highways every day. I think about the senior citizens that travel. Everyone, this could have impacted anyone in our district, and it was so avoidable. And so I think about our state troopers. I think about our first responders. They come to me every day and talk about how we can increase safety and that their lives are put on the line just so that they can build our highways and byways. And for them, this type of tragedy scares the living out of them. And again, it's avoidable. In order for us to be able to, in the interest of public safety, we're going to have to strengthen the laws and make the consequences so much that it deters any barkeeper, any pub from taking a chance of serving an extra drink. But we can do this in a way where all of the responsible pubs and bars throughout Illinois are able to continue to do their business unimpacted. But those that are not have no way to operate. And that's good public policy because that saves lives and it makes the whole state better.
What should the cap be?
Well, I think we should evaluate that. I don't think it's fair for me to just throw out a number at this moment, but it's something we should evaluate. What was it in 1930? Why did we issue this law? Because we wanted to stop this, and we had some movement there. Obviously, over time, we did not keep up with the pace to make sure that there was enough of a deterrent, because we clearly see egregious and unavoidable actions that resulted in the death of this beautiful woman.
Just in terms of the law with bartenders not over-serving, I mean, is there some type of, what are they supposed to do? I mean, is it just their own subjective opinion about it, whether somebody's overserved or not, or is there a number of drinks, or how as a bartender, how do they legally determine if somebody is overserved?
Well, in this particular case, the bartender, Mr. Curran asked for a double shot, and she gave him a single shot. Also, I forgot to point out that he was vomiting on himself after he was taken to the hospital. He was vomiting on himself. So, in this case, anyone looking at him should know that he was intoxicated, and particularly the bartender who knew he was intoxicated because she only gave him a single when he asked for a double. So
Last thing, look, we are moving into an age of AI. But we still have to be human beings. If someone's vomiting on themselves, you know when someone is drunk, and you have the right to withhold drinking. You have to think about being a good neighbor again. That's what we need in society. Thinking about profits over people is resulting in all of us being killed by drunk drivers that are avoidable. It has to stop.
And again, in Illinois, this is strict liability. So it's, even if a couple drinks intoxicates you, then that is strict liability and the bar is liable. With that said, this is a situation where it was more than just a few drinks. It was something that was intoxicated to the point of being double the legal limit, vomiting on himself after drinking in a vehicle, and the bartender at least considering cutting him off.
Okay, if there are no other questions, and I don't have any here?
Pictures that you have up here, are they also
Yes, they're up on our website. Everything you saw here should be up on our website now.
All right.
Thank you, everybody. If you'd like to come representing the state this way, please, thank you.